There's a lot of our listeners who they didn't get to see much of Don Morocco. This is the original Rock.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about Don Morocco?
I don't know that much about Don Morocco. I I don't think Don Morocco was in the WWE when I was there.
Did you never meet Don Morocco at
I don't
all?
don't think I did.
Wow.
I can tell you one thing I can tell you about Don Morocco. I always didn't know, and you're seeing it right now. He was freaking jacked, buddy.
Oh yeah. I mean, he knew where the good shit was.
Wow, he was great. Uh, I remember there was a skit on the old Tuesday Night Titan show TNT where he was getting rubbed down, and Mr. Fuji, who apparently was his manager, was loading him up with baby oil. And I remember him saying, "I've got so much baby oil, I've got it every crack in my body and my ears." And Mr. Fuji, who was a ripper, just kept emptying the bottle on him. Um, and they had to laugh about that. But I don't think I worked with Don Morocco. But Don was, I think, based out of Florida, right? Didn't he work in Florida before he
Hawaii.
Hawaii? Okay, well, I knew it was tropical.
He was actually did some ECW at the very end of his career, believe it or not. But he certainly worked for All Japan, worked for the AWA, worked for the WWF. I guess I just assumed that at some point somewhere you would have worked with him.
Did not I? But obviously, I worked with Greg Valentine. Matthew Presley said Valentine could go. A lot of people did not like Greg Valentine's work, thought it was slow and prodding. But I remember the Greg Valentine from the Mid Atlantic days, and he was great. He
I'll be
had,
honest, as a kid, I didn't think he had much personality.
yeah,
As an adult, I've grown to appreciate his work a lot more. And if I'm
right.
honest with you, I feel the same way about Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton.
Hmm.
So if that's the company you're keeping, you're a pretty damn good wrestler.
Yeah, yeah, he was. And of course, this is very late in his career, but in the '70s, uh, I've said it before, and even Tony Khan and I talked about. We were talking about the best wrestling match that I had seen prior to my years in wrestling, and it's Greg Valentine and Ric Flair against the Andersons at the Greensboro Coliseum, and they switched the titles to Ric Flair and Greg Valentine. It was just a phenomenal match. I never will forget. We're looking at each other, and my friend Hippie and I are looking at each other, and I remember Hippie saying, This is a hell of a match." I'm thinking, God, yeah, you don't they didn't back then. It was just you saw bad matches back then, but that was really, really good. So Valentine was great. He and Flair were a great tag team. There's Gorilla Monsoon at the table. Valentine fucking around the guys at the table there a little bit.
Rocker was really a long-term WWF guy. I mean, even before the national expansion, he did take a break to work a New Japan tour. We mentioned at the end of his career, he worked an All Japan tour. He did work some Georgia Championship Wrestling in '82. And believe it or not, he did have a stop through Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling. He wrestled Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in '82 to a time limit draw in Richmond, Virginia. He wrestled Tommy Rich at the Omni in Atlanta for GCW.
Mm,
You would see him in Charlotte on TV, teaming with Roddy Piper to take on Abe Jacobs and Mike Davis.
wow.
You would even see at non televised events the Briscoe brothers teaming up against Don Morocco and Roddy Piper. Can you imagine how fun that would have been? Jack and Jerry Briscoe against Don Morocco and Roddy Piper. That's about as wrestling history as it gets.
That was great. And that small window between my fandom and me getting married and then becoming part of wrestling. There was a time, I was such a big wrestling fan, and then I got a job, graduated from college, got a job, got a baseball job, got married, and I kind of floated away from wrestling a little bit. And then all of a sudden in '83, bam, I'm working for the Crockett's. So there was a time there between like 1980 and 1983 to where I was kind of removed from wrestling. So that was the time that Don Morocco was at Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling.
By the way, you were correct. In '79 and '80, Don Morocco was working championship wrestling from Florida.
Okay.
So he's hitting all those Orlando and Jacksonville and Miami and Tampa shows
Right.
with names like, Mondo Guerrero and Dusty Rhodes
Mondo.
but they did, he was a big star in Honolulu too. Like, I guess we should mention that he had a big push over there. He even had a loser leaves town steel cage match for the heavyweight title when he picked up a win over there for big time wrestling. And then when Nick Bockwinkel came to the island with the AWA world title, Don Morocco got a shot. So it is interesting to take a look and see what these guys' history were before Vince went national, because I do think so many of my friends who are fans of Don Morocco, they're really fans of his like 1983, 84, 85 stuff, because that's when they really got interested in wrestling. But objectively, I think most would say that's probably not when Morocco was doing his best work. It's just maybe when he had the most exposure.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. By the way, Coach Keith is back with us. Hey, Coach Keith just arrived.
Wow.
Yeah. Coach, I think Coach Keith is, doesn't he Coach, don't you live in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia area? I think he does. Maybe I'm wrong. I know he's a Raiders fan, but anyway, by the way, time code check, 35, 50, 51, 52, 53. I'm watching on Peacock, by the way.
I downloaded the file, but we're exactly aligned.
Okay.
David McClay has a baseball question for you. We just spent some time talking about your baseball cards, and he wants to know, Tony, do you believe Pete Rose should go into the Baseball Hall of Fame someday? I'm asking because I know you're a big baseball fan.
Yes, I do. The Hall of Fame should be based on what you did on the field. And I think eventually he will be. Because you never say never. Anyway, Coach Keith, as you probably know, we were talking about before you got on, we're going to be coming to Philadelphia for quite a number of shows coming up in the first part of September, end of August. So look out for that.
Bryant wants to know, do you collect any cards, any other cards? So besides those old Topps baseball, is there any other card that you're still after?
No, I do have some. I got some football cards, but those were because my kids started collecting some football cards way back when, and they're still here at the house. But no, I don't. I know Pokemon real big. Real big.
Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, well, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment, and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next two house payments. That's right. You won't have to make your June or your July house payment. You're done until August 1st. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years, you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to SaveWithConrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at SaveWithConrad.com. Shoot me an email at Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105. Or get yourself a quick quote, even talk to a live person right now at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at SaveWithConrad.com.